All right, welcome to your PBIS Refresher presented by your Morongo USD MTSS leadership team. Our fantastic brain trust consists of Julie Howard, Dustin Howard, Eric Smith, and a supporting role by myself, Dakota Hudson. Dustin will now touch on how PBIS benefits you.
Thank you, everyone, and glad to have you on board for this video. But I wanted to take a moment to just look at the PBIS benefits to the school community as a whole, to the teaching faculty and support staff, and maybe most importantly to our students. So first off, this provides a systematic approach to behavior that includes the three major facets of what we work with in the PBIS and MTSS world. Those things being the academic, behavioral, and attendance goals and outcomes we would like to establish and reach with our students. Teachers are supported because they know what's available and they understand the system of supports. Through this video, we're trying to provide a refresher to what is a part of PBIS and how teachers play a role in it. We also provide increased positive interactions with students, staff, teachers, parents, and administration. One of my favorite facets of PBIS is the positivity it brings to school situations that don't always receive positive outcomes and positive reactions from entire groups of stakeholders. Students, again, hear a consistent message from teachers and staff about appropriate behaviors in a variety of different settings throughout the school day. So teachers and support staff work to establish expectations in the classroom, in the hallways, in the school bus, in the front office, in and around the bathrooms, and many other areas where students can be taught what the expectations are and how they can work to carry those out. And lastly, students are supported by providing a safe and supportive space with positive relationships for their social, emotional, and academic learning so that those things can be optimized for the end result, which is the personal growth, academic success, and social emotional support that our students need in 2021 and beyond to reach their goals in Morongo Unified.
As you're aware, there are 5 major components of PBIS that we can focus on in this refresher training. The first one is it's very important to create and teach approximately 3 to 5 school-wide expectations, and that's based upon what you come up with as a staff, what you deem appropriate. An example would be safe, be respectful, be responsible. From there, you teach expectations by the variety of locations. So if it's in the hallway, what does being safe, being respectful, being responsible look like? In the classroom, what does that look like? In the lunchroom, what does that look like? Even on the bus, what does that look like? So we teach the expectations in the location of what exactly that looks like. And we spell that out in what we call a school-wide matrix. And a lot of you are very familiar with your school-wide matrix. It should be posted in your classrooms, in the office, and all around campus. The third point is we create and provide school-wide acknowledgement systems that's directly tied to the expectations that are being taught. This becomes the reinforcement piece where kids begin to learn what's expected and what comes as a result of their desired behavior. Oftentimes you'll hear, I don't want to reward students for the behaviors that they're already supposed to be doing, but we definitely know that when we're looking at behaviors, it takes time to be able to change those behaviors. And we do that through positive reinforcement. So think of it as a way when you're teaching math and you're teaching English and you're teaching writing, you're constantly giving feedback and some kind of praise to the student. Behavior, it's the same way. If we want to see the change happen, we must reward the desired behavior that we're looking for. Using a 5-to-1 ratio with specific and non-specific praise. As you're aware, inside of your classroom, 5 positive praises typically tied to the direct expectation that you're looking at inside of the classroom. And then we know that there's going to be those opportunities that we need to address the students' concerns. So we do that and we tie it back to the expectations that we're looking for. And that can be as simple as just a reminder of expectation of how we are safe inside of the classroom. So we're always looking to the 5-to-1 ratio inside of the classroom and across the campus. And PBIS and MTSS teams utilize data to create and adjust interventions to Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. MTSS and PBIS are team-driven. We have a variety of stakeholders who sit on those teams and utilize the data to be able to help create these interventions, create the matrices. They take a look at by location, where are these behaviors happening, and then they can make adjustments based upon the data. So again, MTSS and PBIS are a data-driven team approach that require the whole school's buy-in and input and teaching and reinforcing of the entire system. We've provided you with an example. This is a transition back to the school year. When we go back in person, should that be at the beginning of the school year, we can take a look at how is safety going to play a role. We know that that's going to be a big component, whether that be social distancing that the students are going to have to be taught and then it be reinforced, or the wearing of a mask that's also going to have to be taught and reinforced. So naturally, that's going to become a part of your PBIS system, whether it's incorporated under the Be Safe component that you already have, or maybe you have other parts of the responsibility expectation, you can easily build that in. And this is an example of how you can easily build it in to your matrix so that the students know what safety looks like in this new way of learning when they get back into school.
When teachers hear the need to do SEL, I feel like they hear more planning and more lessons, but it can be really simple to embed into our current PBIS practices. The why of SEL is pretty clear, especially given the current state of emergency we've all been living under. 100% of us have experienced some aspects of restrictions due to COVID. On our SEL screening, 92% of students reported a significant decrease in social skills. The outcomes of SEL align with PBIS also. Reducing the reoccurrence and long-term need for intervention is the goal. We want to be preventative instead of being reactionary. The CASEL competencies provide a scaffold that cover all areas needed to completely cover SEL. Notice how the competencies relate directly to self-regulation, fitting behavioral response to different environments, and how what is happening in the classroom is interconnected between schools and homes and the community. No one wants to stay in a place that feels uncomfortable or uninviting. Schools need to work on building a culture that propagates positive climate. Remember, climate is the feel you get, and culture is the things we do. PBIS and SEL are the things we do to make school feel good to us, or feel good to be in. PBIS and SEL address many of the same issues by clearly defining expectations based on location or setting, monitoring progress as a class and a school, then using the data to refine the systems in place. How simple can SEL be? Well, a good start is just following the golden ratio of 5:1. When addressing behavior using specific, contingent, and genuine statements, like thank you for being safe and respectful by walking in the hallway. There's no need to purchase elaborate SEL curriculums or programs. Using things like Discovery Education or other already curated content is a great starting place. Use the data already being collected to identify themes or skills that need to be focused on for each tier. Integrate the identified skill into the regular lessons of the day. This will target the actual skills needed. Use routines to incorporate PBIS and SEL throughout the day. Start your day or period with a welcoming practice. Mix up the way students interact, and then close your day or class with reflections and predictions. Then tie into existing expectations. Adopt a classroom or school-wide monthly theme. Look at the Action Calendar website for daily ideas. Keep it simple, but engaging. Our initial focus coming back to school should be building relationships and routines. By making SEL and PBIS a part of your class, you will create a climate of positivity that staff, students, and parents want to be in. Here are some additional resources that could be useful in your implementation of PBIS and SEL. Remember, the MTSS leadership team is here to support you in the implementation of MTSS, PBIS, and SEL. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact any of us.